Hello P6, welcome to Wednesday's literacy tasks. Today, why don't you get started with your phonics? And since it's Wednesday, today is the day where we look at the words for sorting and we try and pick out some of those key words. So pick out about 4 or 5, maybe 6 words and try and put them into sentences of your own. For book club today, keep going with the reading that you're doing. Remember, every day we try and spend at least 15 minutes doing some reading. So find somewhere quiet and go and enjoy a book for a while. For our main activity today, we are going to be thinking about something called a non-chronological report. Now, a non-chronological report is when we do some writing and we want to give people information about a particular subject. Now, you can see in front of you that I have decided to write an example of a non-chronological report for you to read. And my non-chronological report is going to be about a character from a book. It's going to be about Harry Potter. And since my class and I have been reading the Harry Potter book over the first term, what I did was I took my copy of Harry Potter and I decided to make some notes all about Harry and his family and his friends and to do with his school. So I flicked through my Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone book and I started jotting down some notes. I did some research and I made some notes. So I jotted down some notes, things I've learned about Harry and his family. So I've learned about his parents, about Lily and James and how they were killed. I've found out about how Harry survived, about that scar he has on his forehead. I've written down that he lives with the Dursleys and who they are, and the fact that in the book they're known as Muggles. I found out a little bit about Harry's school. So he goes to Hogwarts, the fact that there are 4 houses, he's in Gryffindor. You get into your house, don't you, by the sorting hat. It chooses which house you're going to be in. I've written down that I had to get the train to get to Hogwarts from platform 9 3/4. I know the name of the headmaster is Albus Dumbledore. I know that Harry's parents also went to Hogwarts and that they play sport there. Quidditch is the main sport. I've also made some notes about Harry's friends. So I've started off with Ron because he's also in Gryffindor. And we know that he has older brothers who've already attended Hogwarts. Hagrid's a good friend of Harry's, so I've written some notes about what we've learned about Hagrid so far. I've written down a little bit about Hermione, how we met her on the train, how she's bossy and very smart. And I've also written down a few more notes. I've given a few extra facts to my research. So who the author is, the fact that Harry isn't a real person, it's a fictional character, and that there are 7 books in the series. When I write a non-chronological report, I start off by doing my notes, my research. So I write down some facts that I have found out. But then what I'm going to do, what I've done is I have taken that information and I've concentrated on some of those facts. I haven't included everything, but what I've done is I've changed it into what's called a non-chronological report. Now, we know in P6 that chronological means in the order in which things happened. Non-chronological report. Well, non-chronological means I don't have to write about things in the order in which they happened. I can write about them in a different order. So I've got different paragraphs, different sections of my non-chronological report. 2 of them have to go where they are. We have to begin with an introduction. We have to finish with something called a conclusion. But in the middle, the order that I put these paragraphs in, it actually doesn't matter. It's non-chronological. They don't have to come in the order in which they happened. So I've taken the notes that I made about Harry Potter and I've typed it up, but instead of writing in note form, what I've done is I've taken my information and I've written now in full sentences. I've began by introducing who Harry is. The first statement that we write down, the introduction, should tell us a little bit, probably the most important thing about Harry or about whoever it is that we're writing about. So Harry Potter, the fact that he's a fictional character and who created him. Then I've decided to write about his family, but I've taken my notes and I've put them into full sentences. So I've got capital letters and full stops where they're needed. And I've written a little bit about Harry's family. I haven't included every bit of information that I put down here. So I haven't said, for example, about them being muggles. I haven't mentioned the fact that the family are the Dursleys. But I have given quite a bit of information. Then I've taken the information about Harry's school and I've put it into full sentences as well. Then I've taken the information about his friends and I've put that into full sentences. And then I've finished off with my conclusion, an extra fact about Harry, and how if you wanted to learn even more about him, you could continue reading the other books in the series, because as we know, there are 7 books altogether in the series. You can download that non-chronological report P6 from our website and go and have a better read through it later on. For today, for your task, what you're going to do for your literacy task today is, well, you are going to create your very own non-chronological report, and you're going to write it about one of the P6 teachers. You might think that you already know me and Mr. Massey and Mr. Coetzee already quite well, but do you really? Well, what the teachers have done is each of us has written down some facts about ourselves. So Mr. Coetzee has written down some facts about him, where and when he went to school, about his family and friends, his hobbies, his favourite and least favourite foods, and about Brooklands. Mr. Massey has done the same sort of idea, as have I. And what we want you to do is today pick one of the P6 teachers. It doesn't have to be your teacher. Could be, but it doesn't have to be. Pick one of the P6 teachers and create what's called a non-chronological report about your teacher that you have chosen. Now, when you go to do it, when you go to write it out, just like doing Harry Potter's, you'll need to organise your information into different sections. And can you see that at the beginning of each section, we've got one word. This is called a subheading. It explains what this section is about. So this section is about family, about school, about friends. On the teachers' pages, we have given you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sections. Now, you're not going to include all of that information, P6, but what we would like you to do is pick about 3 of the sections for the teacher that you have chosen. And once you have picked out those 3 sections, you're going to create a non-chronological report about that teacher. You can download this page. It's called a template. And when you download this template, you'll put the name of the teacher that you've chosen up at the top. You'll write a short introduction about them there. Then you've got 1, 2, 3 main sections. Now, it's up to you which sections you choose. You might choose, maybe if you were doing about Mr. Massey, to write about school. Then you might choose to do food next, and then you might choose to do about his time at Brooklands as the last one. The order is entirely yours. So start off with an introduction, explaining who the person is. 3 main sections, information that you've found out. Don't forget, you'll need to write in full sentences. And then finish off with a conclusion. That might be a fact that you didn't include. So if you have been writing about Mr. Massey, but there's a fact that you haven't included, but you think that's a really interesting fact, you could include that perhaps in the conclusion. Or maybe you know something about that teacher that's not on the page. Maybe you could include it in the conclusion. So for your task today, P6, you are going to write a non-chronological report about one of the P6 teachers. You get to find out about us. I bet you'll learn something you didn't already know. Once you've got it done, please, please, please email a copy of your work to us. Take a photograph of it and ask somebody to email that non-chronological report to us. We would love to read what you've been up to. So today you've got your phonics, you've got Bug Club, we're writing non-chronological reports, and don't forget, keep having a look at Play Live. Oh my goodness, the scores are absolutely outstanding. We even have some people on the national leaderboard in the top 10 of the UK. That is amazing, P6. Keep up the good work and keep challenging yourself. Have a really lovely day. Bye.